sexy. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Time once again, yes, again for Type 40 Live, materialising here with your live stream Doctor Who magazine show all across your view screen too in real time on Rumble, X, YouTube and on Facebook too, and always in front of a live chat full of friends, fans and companions just like you. This is where the week in the Whoniverse starts. If you've missed it, we might have caught it. It works both ways too. Perhaps you've seen something or heard something fabulous, mysterious or simply outrageous that we haven't. Let's get it all out here at Type 40 Live. Yes, the all-new season of Doctor Who. Nearly there, nearly at the end. So much. We're on the threshold of something huge, aren't we? Something huge is coming through. And that's just here in the console room with us. Right, what next? What next? Oh, I know. I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks, and whoever you are will find out in a moment or two. And please remember, if you're watching in the Type 40 Facebook group, hello everybody there. Don't forget to hit the little blue link. In all the excitement, you might get the red mist descend. Hit the little blue link, and that way Facebook tells StreamYard who you are, StreamYard tells us, and we all get on first name terms to talk all things time and space and time. Such 61 years of Doctor Who, 15 incarnations of the Doctor, and everything up and down and to the sides of all of that. And we're going to do some proper geeking out this time in the console room, I'm happy to say. Playful like children. I think the best console room to run around in is probably still this one. Yeah, the slippy floors and those stairs. I think you'd have to watch your head, wouldn't you, going up those stairs? But I think I can trust them. We're all adults here. Well, near enough. First of all, let's bring on the geeking and the rambling. It's the Lady Shah.
I'm on first.
You are on first.
So not normal. But hello, I'm really happy to be here. If anyone's wondering why I'm not looking directly at the camera, it's because it's kind of offset, so I can't really see properly. But
it's the magic of YouTube.
It's the magic of YouTube, exactly. Yeah.
Sure. Before we move on, are you wearing emo sleeves? What's this business around your hands?
Oh, sorry. Going back to my 14-year-old self. Yeah, magic. I didn't even realise I was doing that. I did it all day at work, and then when I was getting some funny looks, it's even got the hole in the thumb for when I'm feeling extra.
There you go. So I was right. Yeah. It's near enough. That's near enough. So have you been? The last time you were on, the last time you were on, we've got Chris Walker-Thompson on.
Oh, wasn't he fab? Yeah,
he was, wasn't he?
I'd love to see him again. And I feel like you guys in the chat, actually, I don't know whereabouts you'll be in the live chat.
They're everywhere. They're all around.
They're everywhere, all over the shop.
They're ubiquitous.
It's really nice to see him. I'd love to see him back.
Yes, so would I. In fact, we have been in touch, so I think we'll see him back sooner rather than later. What do you reckon about about the glass floor in this TARDIS show? Were you ever on board with that?
Yeah, I love it. When I went to New York, I went to the Empire State, and they've got a glass bit. And I'm not really usually afraid of heights, but that bit did it for me. But I quite like the glass floor. I like how you can just see everything that's going on. I like to see everything. I don't like when it comes to the TARDIS, I like to know what's happening, or at least see what's happening.
You like to know what's going on.
Yeah, and it's always nice when you actually see the Doctor tinkering away below. Even if he's not part of that scene, you can sort of see him doing little bits and bobs, and I love it. I think he even says at one point, "What is the point of you all being here? I'm standing here doing things very clever, and you're not even here to witness it." I'll take you all.
I tell you what, I think that's all well and good, but you'd need a lot of Windoline to keep that thing clean. That's the only problem.
It's all right. Tiny bit. You get it. Wilco's isn't even a thing anymore, but you get a little bit of glass cleaner, a little bit of tissue. Job's a good one.
Everybody's got their tips for this kind of thing. I bet Charlotte Shields has got a couple of tips as well. How would you go about cleaning this floor, Charlotte?
Not on cleaning glass. He probably got Rory to do it when he was like not happy with him. That's probably Rory's job in the TARDIS.
Do you mean that Amy got him to do it? Really, I'm not sure.
That's not true. I'll give you that. It's probably when Amy got in an argument with him and she lost. Rory's job was to clean. Yeah.
There are a lot of shiny surfaces in that console room. I always forget that the monitor, the big screen, was that circular thing that we see on the left there in the corner by the stairs. They didn't use it very often, did they?
No, he used more of that thing that you can see was the TV screen almost.
The dangler.
Because he could move it around. And I've got lots of images of Matt doing that in the episodes, just waltzing around with that thing, looking at it and then running off and then coming back again.
happy days there spent in that very golden TARDIS. You thought the one previously was golden, but that's really golden. Talking about talking about the golden grace. Yeah, let's bring him on. It's the one, the only Ian David Diaz, the mega geek.
Hello, sorry.
Hello, mate. Now, you're a very tricky customer when it comes to TARDIS console rooms. Where do you stand on this fella?
Hate it. Totally hate it. It's so messy.
It's easy, isn't it, for you?
It's completely messy.
It's messy.
There's no structure to it. It just looks like some kid drew it on a blackboard or something, and then they just went with it. It's just an awful design as far as I'm concerned.
You like the chrome look, don't you? You like the chrome.
No, I like Pagoldi's. I think it was originally Matt's, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the one with the bookshelves and stuff. Yeah, I really like that one. I think that one's really cool, and also I like the classic one as well. You know, the minimalist one. But and I like Baker's one. Baker's wooden. You know, the wooden, even though it was tiny, because of the budget, but I still liked it though. So
I did wonder, Ian, if the theory behind this wasn't because didn't tie into like the Doctor meeting Amy in her being a child and drawing him, as if somehow the TARDIS telepathic fields had picked up on that, and just as you say, sort of interpreted a child's drawing, because this is definitely something a kid would come up with, I think.
Yeah, but it's really an awful design. Those stairs, the one on the right, what the. But you're gonna have to use your hands. You're just
scared you'd bang your head, aren't you?
No, it's just ridiculous. I just don't like this design. You know, I just think it's very silly.
That's fair.
It's got carpet on the console. I'm like, what the hell? Did they just raid the? It has.
It's got a bit of everything on that console.
Yeah,
you definitely bang
every material going.
You'd definitely bang the old Mega Brain, wouldn't you? Yes, so we've got the usual wealth of comments waiting to get to there in the live chat across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and on X. So the gang is all here. So keep them coming, everybody. We'll get there in due course. But before we do, yes, of course, we are inching our way to the season finale of all new Doctor Who season 1. That's coming in a few days' time. The cliffhanger ending to the last episode has absolutely I think it's kind of set the universe alight, really, whether you're in the for or the against. It's great to have Doctor Who talked about again, feeling kind of relevant again and exciting again. Shooty's still smiling, whether he's got reason to smile or not. Yeah, let us know what you think of it all. Have you come down yet? Have you stopped seething yet? And do you fear the worst about what could be to come at the weekend? Tell you what, though, I do fear the worst about what could be coming in the not too distant future as we stretch into July and August, because obviously the UK, we're going to the polls, aren't we, for another god-awful general election here in Great Britain on Thursday, the 4th of July. It's the usual rounds already of slanging matches, empty promises, and good old-fashioned BS. Of course it is. The best thing to do is to kind of keep it to yourself and, put your little cross in your little box and then go about your business, I think. The UK is divided into 650 constituencies, and each one elects an MP to represent its local residents. That's how it tends to go. And obviously each constituency, it's got multiple people aiming to be the MP, representing whichever party that they're standing for. That's how it works. And over the weekend, one particular prospective MP has made it into the social medias, because people have said, this guy, he looks more like Doctor Who than Doctor Who does. Have you seen this, Ian?
Who's that?
Have you not seen?
Is he Labour? Is he Labour?
What do you think?
Well,
of course he bloody is.
Is he Labour? He's a Pope Catholic.
He's wearing a bright red rosette as well.
If the new Doctor was wearing that, I'd be happy with that design.
Oh,
You?
whatever, Ian. That's a mess of shit.
I like the fact. I tell you what I do like. Shooty's cardigan that he's been wearing in some episodes. It's way too tight. I think the reason why he doesn't look very doctorish at times is because it all looks like it's been shrunk to fit. Whereas if he was wearing a cardigan that was, it's like it's been
That's okay.
on.
That's okay.
I think that sweater and that shirt looks kind of higgledy-piggledy enough. But no, this isn't the new Doctor Who. This is a guy called Jovan Owasnu Nipal, and he is Labour's candidate for Clacton in the general election. And he does describe himself as an active trade unionist and campaigner. And he says, as a young man, I had a passion for revitalising this constituency, which is all well and good, but I'd like to know where he stands on the unit dating conundrum and who he prefers, Sarah Jane or Joe Grant, like everybody else. But this did catch my eye, and I do see what people mean.
Yeah, but he does look like a jumble sale threw up on him. Like, you can't like that.
That's what the Doctor is, isn't it? He usually just throws on clothes, doesn't he? The Doctor. Sometimes it mingles. Like the worst one's got to be Colin Baker's costume, isn't it? Kind of thing. So I can see it's very Doctorish like, isn't it? So
I'm only messing. It's personal taste.
I mean,
I like it.
That's his taste, isn't it?
Bring on the corduroy. That's what I'd say.
I
remember them.
Look next series. Don't.
You know what? You can take the piss out of the corduroy, but they were really comfortable. They were really comfortable. So yeah.
People keep telling me
I was dressing in the 90s, in the 2000s, and then every decade since I've always been a decade behind. So I've got no room to talk. Yeah.
Hence the emo sleeves. I like it.
Hence the emo sleeves. Don't forget the thumb.
I'm going to start calling Shah emo sleeves from now on. Yes, as you can imagine, we've had we've had our eye on the social medias this weekend to see what's trending. I bet you have too. As you can imagine, the main thing trending has been Sutekh, hasn't it? Sutekh, he's back, just as we speculated on the Big Thursday show last week, Shah. It's a relief that when we went into all that detail, myself, Charlotte, John, we were talking about this at some length, so much so it's a great relief that it did actually turn out to be true, Charlotte.
Yeah, I was thinking that honestly a little bit. I was like, it's a good thing we did like a whole 30 minutes on the stream about Sutekh and who he is and why Russell would bring this character back and stuff like that.
The general impression seems to be that it's all well and good, but it needs more gas, needs more of this.
Yeah, no, I
more
think,
dry ice looking at that picture.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to be interesting actually for me on the Saturday now coming up. Because Sutekh was the big sort of cliffhanger shock at the end. And I think it did what Russell wanted. But now I think it's going to be, and I've seen a lot of people, now they've sort of gotten over the shock aspect going, okay, Russell, how are you going to do it now? How are you going to pull him off properly in an episode?
Careful.
Yes. I see how straight my face was. And I didn't do it.
It had to be me, didn't it? It had to be me. Yes, I've just noticed here that this was the first appearance of a fez in Doctor Who. That's what we want to know. Let us know there in the live chat across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. These are the things that we need to know. Of course, that is an unforgettable scene from the 1975 classic story, Pyramids of Mars, where we first saw Sutekh as voiced by Gabriel Wolf, then as he is now. And this story holds so many memories for me, not just from back in the day, but getting it on home media and obviously going back to this character. It's a tense time for a lot of us Doctor Who fans. Have you seen this one, Shah? Are you very familiar with the story?
No, but when things about Sutekh were coming out, and I knew who Sutekh was, I knew that much. I did go and watch Pyramids of Mars with my stepdad, and thought it was brilliant. And thought it was really good. So again, a bit like Charlotte, actually, thank God it was him, because that's a waste of time that I've just had to do for one episode. And quite liked the story. It was fine. It was Tom Baker, so it was always good. But it's good. But I'm not going to jump the gun, because I feel like we're going to get there at some point, and I'll keep that to myself until that time.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, if you want to give it a second day in court, obviously, because the story is going to recommence, isn't it, from this incredible cliffhanger that we got over the weekend, where the Hound, Sutekh there, claimed the TARDIS, and it all got quite nasty, didn't it? He drew fire from units there, and in the heat of battle, there they all are. So it was very, very intense there on Doctor Who during that episode, and there he is, a big close-up of the nasty swine himself as well. So, but if you want to give the original story, Pyramids of Mars, another day in court, the word has just gone out. They've just published in the last hour from the BBC that on Thursday, that Tales of the TARDIS that we talked about the other night, if you remember. So this is the strand of repeats, sort of revised repeats, aren't they, of classic Doctor Who stories that they've truncated them and given them new introductions with other Doctor Who cast members, usually classic cast members. We speculated again the other night, Charlotte, about this one may not be all that it appears to be. They'd originally billed it as a clip show. Turns out it's not a clip show. It does in fact star Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson as the Doctor and Ruby, and they are going to be introducing the classic Doctor Who story, The Pyramids of Mars, and this so it's an entirely new scene there. It's on Thursday the 20th of June at 8 p.m. on BBC4 and on the iPlayer. And it takes the classic story starring Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen there, as we suspected. But now it says this timeless classic has been remastered into a feature-length omnibus episode that's had a cosmic makeover with updated special effects. So obviously Pyramids of Mars has not joined the box sets, the collection range there from BBC Studios, because the season it's part of has never been released. So this is going to be everybody's first chance to take a look at this in any kind of heavily upscaled, remastered model in a number of years since the DVD came out, and the updated special effects, of course, all eyes are going to be on that too. So it's a brand new presentation of this classic story there. Now, Ian, if you remember earlier on, when was it, like 6 months ago? Yeah, they premiered the Daleks in colour in that slot, didn't they? They colourised it and done all sorts of things to it, and we had a great time talking about that here at Type 40 Live, didn't we? Is this something that appeals to you, because you do like the updated special effects, don't you? Are you tempted by this?
Yes, definitely. I'll probably watch it. Be interested to see. I mean, how many episodes was there originally in this?
It was a 4-parter. So it's about 100 minutes that they've managed to knock down to 75, 76.
Right. So I'd be interested to see what they cut out in this version. And maybe it might speed it along and stuff like that. I'm all for improved special effects in the old Doctor Who's, because obviously it was known for its bad special effects when we were watching it live on TV. People, when you used to go to school, kids used to laugh, that kind of thing. So I'm all up. I'm really up for them updating the effects. And Tom Baker's always a good watch as well. And this, I remember watching this. I think it was a great 4-parter. Now I remember it's a 4-parter. But yeah, I look forward to it, definitely.
It's a favourite of a lot of people, Charlotte. Are you tempted to go back to this, seeing as it's had an upgrade?
I'm like Ian, I'm always intrigued when they do the special effects and when they do the update, because I can't think of a bad job they've done that way when it comes to actually, like you said, upscaling it, making it more to what we would say is a better quality, just generally, because like they filmed them in a certain way back in Classic, and you look at some of that now and you go, "Oh, that looks a bit ropey." So I'm all up for the effects. The only thing is, I'm a little bit nervous if they're cutting stuff from it, because for all the effect stuff, I loved that they did the Daleks in colour. I thought the colour aspect was done brilliantly in that. But I didn't like some of the cuts in that Dalek version, because to me, in certain bits, it felt like they cut too much. Like, so they were trying to almost speed it up. So I'm a bit
it's fair to say as well, Charlotte, it's fair to say that I love the Daleks, but there is quite a lot of fat on that story. The Pyramids of Mars is a lot leaner, isn't it?
Yes.
You would think there's a lot less you can take out.
The thing is with Pyramid of Mars, it's an atmosphere story. It's all about sort of the feel of Sutekh and what he does and how he operates. So you need to keep that intact as much as possible, I think, to get the effect of what pyramids. So that's the only little sort of nervousness I've got if they've cut about 20 minutes then, or that about, because like I said, it's a very lean story. It's a 4-parter, it's not 6-parter.
We'll see. I'm sure they'll do their best and making sure that the story still flows and makes sense and stuff like that after they've cut 20 minutes out of it. But I just want to see it again. Yeah. Time will tell. I just want to see it again with the new effects, and I want to see Tom as well. I haven't got the Tom Baker collection yet. I should get it actually. So, but this is not on the this version they're going to be screening. It's not on the Blu-rays, right, Dan?
No, it's not. It's not available on Blu-ray yet. It was. I think it was a special feature in a season of the Sarah Jane Adventures when that went to Blu-ray, but obviously they didn't do anything particularly drastic to it to prepare it for Blu-ray. It's because it was a bonus. It was a special feature. Shara was suspicious of this because they put it on BBC4, and obviously the other Tales of the TARDIS, they just sit there on the iPlayer. I thought that there had to be something. There had to be something with this.
Yeah.
You know what, right? So I've seen some developments on AI, and I reckon because this was shot in 4:3, which is the standard TV. I've seen some AI stuff that can actually complete the sides. So the AI will think about what's on the sides and it'll complete the sides, and it will move exactly with the picture. So who knows what the future holds for classic Doctor Who going forward? Do you know what I mean?
Is what AI is for.
Yeah.
That is where I agree with AI.
Yeah.
That would strike fear and horror into the hearts of many fans out there, almost as much as the 15th Doctor the other day when he came face to face with the latest agent of Sutekh there stood on the stage, grimacing with a hand with a hand outstretched. Yes, do you bring Char's gift of death to all non-believers as well? Emo sleeves? Yes, we'll find
only people I don't like.
It was a great Doctor Who moment. Well, it certainly chilled me anyway, and I did like this line from Maurice Gibbons as well. What do you think of this character, Shah?
Do you know what? It's really annoying because I feel like it's almost like I'm being told that I need to connect and care for this character, and like all of them. Just if you're gonna I'm gonna just do it because I wasn't on the reaction show for Thursday, so I'm
Char, you know what I'm like with Unit. Go for it.
It's really annoying. I love the idea of a child genius. Like if you don't need to go to school, don't go to school. I hated school and get your job straight away. That's fine. I love the idea of a child genius coming in, being a scientific advisor. I think that's really cool. It's something that I would want to do when I was 13. But a lot
of kids watching this who are maybe a little more academic and a bit nerdy rather than geeky will probably relate to that and think it's kind of cool, won't they?
And someone who thinks that they're a little bit different. I really like the idea of it is great, but I needed him in Unit way back, not just for one thing. If I was going to have him at all, because I really liked Shirley.
Do you think, Shah,
so did I.
They should have put some of these in the specials, these characters, like him,
like
some of the others, just to get that connection? That's my issue right now with Unit. I've got no connection, I feel like, to the majority of the characters.
Even forgetting connection, because I agree with what you're saying. I honestly do. It's more just like, keep consistent. If you're going to cast these people, like you've got Kate, what happens when she retires to Bora Bora with a cocktail? Like, because that's what everyone else seems to have done. So I need consistency, please. RTD.
I do know for a fact. I do know for a fact that Shirley Bingham is back in the next season. So that's a character they haven't pushed her out. She's coming back. So I think it could simply be the fact that the actress wasn't available. Maybe she was doing a play or doing a series or something like that.
I understand the logistics of it. It's more just the fact that, like, if you are going to do that, keep it consistent. Why are you hiring a lead actor that's not available for production? It's these kind of things.
Good point. Very good point. Probable trap 100%. So says Morris. You know what's not a trap? Our live chat there across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. Let's go and check in with them. Slick. Let's go and check in with them right now and see which comments we've got waiting for us there. Out in the...
You never
Hello. What's that?
You never give warning about when you're going to play one of those videos. And I've just decided, not I've decided, but I've realised that all of them make me jump, whether they're scary, cute, or not. All do it.
Oh dear. We have our friends here lining up, waiting. Yeah, they've been listening to all this nonsense, waiting for us to get to their comments, including Thistlebeak's Bird Cams, who says, hello. The name is longer than the comment, Ian. Rob Alexander's into a very happy Monday. Greetings, fellow Who fans. It's time for Type 40. Hi to the panel and to those in the chat. Hi all around. Hail everyone. From Lord Thoth. Ian Scales is into, isn't it about time? Is this about the Nielsen ratings? I heard they aren't good. No, Ian, I've not seen the Nielsen ratings. I don't understand Nielsen ratings in particular. Maybe some American pundits and American publications probably do. It's a drastically different landscape to the UK ratings. So for the time being, until they publish something that is comprehensive and readable, I won't be going there for the time being. But by all means, watch this space.
May I ask Ian? Ian Scales, is that your own calendar? Just wondering. It's a nice calendar.
It looks like it's an AI picture, I think. And he says the Gallifrey base seems to have turned off some comments on the thread. Gallifrey base turns off lots of comments. It's not even really worth going there, is it? You're much better off in the Type 40 Facebook group. Just like Glenn Piper. Howdy, everyone. I'm all ready for bed. Got work at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Ready for Type 40, though.
Wow. That's brutal.
Gary Akers, you talk about brutal. What about Gary Akers? I bring Sutek's gift of puns to the entire chat. Says the ruthless Gary Akers.
Christ.
We were on the same show the other night.
I watched.
Terrifying. Hi guys, I made it, says Vanessa Law. Thank heaven for that, Vanessa. Happy to have you back. And Melanie Western Investigators in too with a hi, everyone, Charlotte.
What do you investigate?
Hello,
everyone. We're yet to find this out. Richard's in as well and says, all true classic fans are my enemy. All true fans will perish under Russell the Destroyer.
The ratings are certainly proving that point, if nothing else.
I will keep the faith, he says. T-Dwarf Productions, that's our mate Tom, says, hi everyone, I hope Lenny the dog is giving us his big cute eyes, everyone. Well, he would be, but Lenny's on holiday. They're up seeing the sights at an undisclosed location, Lenny and the rest of the Horton family. So obviously our best wishes to them, and I hope he's been a good boy. Adrian James says, evening everyone. Psychic Beats says hello. So we've got lots of the familiar names here. We've got a hi Shah from Richard. Just for you.
Richard.
Which one?
You.
Which Shah?
I think it's the abbreviated version.
Yeah, that's why we have the abbreviated Shah.
Melanie West Investigates.
No.
I'm going to have to start calling you Mel. Melanie West Investigates. Sutekh was supposed to be a jackal. He looks more like a dog. I kept expecting to hear the song "Who Let the Dogs Out." Well, you never know. That could be coming, because something else that's been trending over the weekend has been, various wits and wisdoms from people out there, and this one particularly caught my eye because obviously the classic Doctor Who story there, and we all like Sutekh as he was, the analog way that television was made back then, the quainter special effects. it allowed us to focus more on the performance. Current Doctor Who, 21st century Doctor Who, and particularly Russell T Davies Doctor Who, can be a little excessive, can't it? And just as that comment said there, this is from Stuart Manning over on X, and he says, I wonder what pop track they'll have Sutekh dancing to next week. And that did make me laugh, because maybe that comment is right there. Maybe Melanie's right, and it could be Who Let the Dogs Out that they go for. What do you think the chances are of that, Charlotte?
Well, Russell has done a lot of music in this series so far, so you never know. Considering the chat we had on Saturday, some people probably think he's going to have the Scooby-Doo theme, which would also make me laugh a lot. So,
it would. It would. What do you make of it, Ian, when they use pop music in Doctor Who episodes to sort of enhance the action, raise the stakes? You know, like Here Come the Drums back in 2007 with the Master sort of thrusting his laser screwdriver and all those big balls descending there on the Earth. Does that work for you when they play contemporary music in Doctor Who?
Well, you know, I hate this episode. That episode, I hated it. Totally.
I'll just assume you hate all of them.
No, I don't hate all of them. This one was particularly awful. It was, you know, the Master wants to make everybody look like himself. Why? Anyway, we won't go down that road.
This is the one with the oh my god! Don't tell me what they are.
The Toclafane.
Yeah, but it's still an awful episode. But anyway,
it's terrible.
Having music in Doctor Who is not Doctor Who. So there you go. That's my comment for today.
Yeah, I didn't like it at first, but after a while, Charlotte, I really enjoyed it.
I think for me, if it fits the scene, I enjoy it. It's when it takes me out of the scene, the music, like it did in that scene with the Master, like having Ncuti dance to Kylie Minogue last week. It was like,
thank God I never watched that one
of the episode, like of that moment.
Yeah.
I love that bit so much.
Jiggly Wiggly says, Lord Thoth. Is that the kind of music? Is that a new sort of a new music form that I don't know anything about, like R&B? Is it like Jiggly Wiggly? Is that something?
No idea.
A new music genre?
No, it's not.
I have no idea.
Mark Laseith says Ncuti has to look fabulous in his clothing. Well, you think he likes to think he does, certainly. I'm with Ian. I would wear that. So Simon Ashley. So that's back to our MP friend there that we were looking at earlier on. We've got Heretic in the live chat, as well as our mate John Yulden there with his wrench too. Good to have you all. Good to have you all there. Mark asks, why bring Sutekh back? Well, why bring anybody back? Why? It's Doctor Who's got 60 years worth of mythology, Shaw. I mean, are they? As long as they don't do it every week, it's good to bring these characters and monsters and villains and familiars back, isn't it?
No, because this is the thing. So, no, it's not that. It's because my mum watched it and I had to explain everything to her, everything. And she didn't have a clue what was going on because she didn't know who Sutekh is. And the argument I made is that you could say that about Dalek, but the difference was we were introduced to the Dalek about 5 minutes in. And then so the classic fans would get excited and I would get excited because I didn't know who that was and why is this Doctor so terrified. And then I have a whole story to understand how just one of them can completely mess the whole thing up. And that's the difference. That is how you introduce a villain.
Storytelling.
Thank you. That is how you introduce a villain or a monster, whatever, to a new audience. Not just I'm telling you, you need to be scared of this.
Oh, thank God I never watched this rubbish. There you go.
I think what
it was a good episode, but I just
it was very, very strong. I think the creeping menace and the tension is what tells you that something big is coming. So I think when you speak to normies, when you speak to standard viewers, it may as well. Why create a new a new giant figure of destruction, a new godlike entity when Doctor Who's got about 12 that you can already use and that haven't got a great deal of baggage with them? You may as well, because knowing this fandom as I do, I know and love the Doctor Who fandom very well. If they'd have created a new god of death or some kind of character like that, there'd have been just as many people saying, why didn't they just bring back Sutekh? So it's just like Sutekh then. You know what I mean?
I totally get it. I totally get it. But what I'm saying is, I didn't feel I was told to be scared. I didn't feel scared.
Yeah.
I love the tension. I love the episode in general. But when I'm told I need to be scared, I wasn't told to be scared of the Daleks. I wasn't told to be scared of the Cybermen. I just were, because their whole thing made me scared. Not this dog that, quite frankly, I want a pet. It's going to scare me. You know?
There you go. Let's go pet Sutekh. Fly Highland says, I finished Pyramids on my watch through of all classic Who in order on the day that Legend of Ruby Sunday, got all these rubies, aired. So that's good timing for Fly Highland, just by chance.
Was that on? Yeah, I was going to say, was that by chance, or did you plan it, or were you just?
It sounds like it. Sounds like it. Richard's worried that it could be that new version of Pyramids could be all wall-to-wall music and CGI overlay. I think we've got to hope for the best. I mean, if it's the team that update the special effects for the Blu-rays, then it should work out okay.
Yeah,
shouldn't it?
It's more of an enhance, though, isn't it? It's not like a whole rehash.
Yeah, I think but when they redo the visual effects, they kind of have respect for what was gone in the past. I've seen some of the Peter Davison redo visual effects, and they don't go overboard and design a new, completely different ship. They keep the ship that it's the same design, and then they actually make it better. So they do respect what went in the past, which is quite nice, actually. So
and it's sort of to talk to what Shah was just talking about with her mum. They're putting this out to basically be a primer for the final episode on Saturday. They're putting this out for people who have no idea, who haven't watched a lot of classic. It's like, here you go, watch this, then you will be up to speed and you will understand probably a lot more what's happening in Empire of Death.
Yeah. Cybermat Strike says it gave me another reason to enjoy Pyramids of Mars in a new light. And Stephen Braddock said, everyone at work was asking me, who is this Sutekh bloke? I'd have loved to hear.
You don't want to be asked. You don't want to have to ask you, but oh my God, did you see Sutekh?
Normies always do that. Normies in my life asked me who the hell the Master was after Utopia as well. It's always worked like that.
That's a good comparison.
Ian, they did, and it happened every time they brought anybody back, including the Macra. Kinder is superb with the updated Snake, says Ian Scales. I think we can hope for the best.
It was better. It was so much better. The effects were so much better, and I remember watching it the first time when they broadcast it. It took me completely out of it when I saw this stupid plastic snake that came up. But then when I saw the redone, obviously it looked so much better. So there you go. I think it's a good step that they correct and stuff, especially in Doctor Who, because Doctor Who, again, obviously you guys weren't even born when I used to watch it. And again, when you were at school, people used to just laugh. They used to call it fuzzy effects because of the bad keying. Kids used to say, did you see that fuzzy effect last night on Doctor Who? And they used to kill themselves laughing because it was so bad. But obviously, if you get a chance to correct it, it's a good thing, in my opinion. Of course, there are a lot of Doctor Who fans out there that want it to be exactly the way it was, and I understand that too. But as long as you got the choice, right, to see the old version and the new version, that's a good thing. Yeah.
That's the thing. I think things like this have got to be for the casual audience to generate or regenerate interest in Doctor Who, in the brand, in the show itself, and in people maybe wanting to hit up the iPlex. That's what it is. It's a long form advertisement, really. I think, Charlotte, for the physical media line, the iPlayer / Whoniverse. It's opening the door for more people on the back catalogue to a series that they may have preconceived ideas about. And so I'm all for that. However, they have to represent it within reason is kind of fine by me, as long as they don't whittle down a 2-hour story down to half an hour. I'm fine with it.
That's my thing. As long as it's still got the spirit and the core beats of the story. Like, for me, that's the only thing with the Dalek. I felt like it actually damaged the story a bit. For me, what they took away. But I think that's a bit personal for everybody, to be honest. Everybody's got different sort of feelings about that.
It wasn't ideal.
So they are redoing that Pyramids of Mars because they want you to understand the episode.
I don't think it's because they want you to understand, because I think
it's to help.
I think it's I think it's the novelty value. I think it's obviously because there will be some continuity, but I can't imagine that it'll be a massive amount, because whenever Russell did bring these characters back before, he never used to overload it. This is the guy who waited, was it 3 seasons to say the word Gallifrey? So generally speaking, he always had a good eye for how to measure this stuff out. So I think it'll be fine. Keep the comments coming, everybody, about all of that, all of this, and everything else that we get stuck into here at Type 40 Live, this time across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and on X. There's still so much to talk about.
Curse's doctor is interfering with my plans, but I will destroy the universe. He won't be able to stop me, but you might, if you watch Type 40.
Yes, for the last couple of weeks, this guy, Russell T Davies, that you may have heard of him, the showrunner, the current showrunner of Doctor Who, he went really, really quiet a couple of weeks ago in the wake of the show's ratings kind of starting to bottom out, didn't he? But he has broken his silence last week to sort of defend the ratings. Obviously, this follows the drastic way in which the episodes are now premiered both nationally and internationally, having moved to that streaming first model, which was always a bit of a gamble. So Russell said this after all the speculation, not just here at Type 40 Live, but across any place where fans gather, really, of any number, across all social media groups and things like that, and any feed that you may be on. It's been pretty obvious that things aren't going as well as they could be, but if you did voice that concern, you were shouted down. Now Russell has confirmed it's not doing that well in the ratings, Charlotte. Obviously, Russell T Davies is the king of hyperbole. He usually sells this show no matter what. So for him to state something as plainly as this, as quietly as this, things clearly aren't good, are they?
Yeah, I think that we've all said there was a point where even Russell had to admit the reality of the situation, where he couldn't just go, oh, everything's brilliant, everything's... And I think... No, but like I said, I think, honestly, you can only BS for so long. And then the ratings in the last couple of weeks have been absolutely shocking. Even if, and it's not just the overnights, and that's what a lot initially the talk was about. It's the consolidated, and that's what they were banking on, I think, more than anything with the new method. And that was going down, which I think is...
I know there are people out there celebrating this, and I get why. But Shah, I want the best for the show. I want it to succeed, and I feel that if something isn't working for whatever reason, it's far better to do. I mean, it's better that he's done this. It's better late than never. It's far better and more dignified to admit it quietly, to not blame anybody else, just admit what we can all see, and then move on and make it better. Do you see what I mean?
Oh yeah, completely. I was actually really pleased. I think I even sent. I know you said that you saw it before, but I think I sent this to you, didn't I? Because
yeah,
I was shocked that he'd said it, and I actually have more respect for someone who can say that, because I'm not that bothered about ratings. I know that they mean a lot, but I'm not, because if I'm watching it and it's still going, then fine. If it does tank, then whatever, it is what it is. I can't do anything about it, but I will watch it. So I'm not that bothered about the ratings, but for him to say it's not doing as well as we'd like, okay, great. I'm glad you've got a bit of self-awareness. I'm glad that you're seeing it in, without the rose-colored glasses. That's great, because
that's when fans get that's when fans get really frustrated, Shah, when everybody can see and it's still not being addressed.
Yeah, it's like the elephant in the room, isn't it? But what I do like is how many executive producers are you going to see that say it is not doing as well as we'd like? There's a lot that Russell said that I don't like, and this is one of the things that I really did. I'm happy about that. I want it to do so much better, though. This is the thing I want.
Well, we all do.
I want it to be so good, and only the last 2 episodes that I've actually enjoyed and would confidently say I'd watch again.
I mean, in my day-to-day viewing life, Ian, I'm not that interested. I'm kind of like Shah. I'm not that interested in ratings generally. They never affect my enjoyment of a show. I've liked loads of shows that have been canned after 6 episodes because people just haven't been feeling it. Sometimes I've liked some shows that are bad, that I know are bad, but it's a simple... But when the audience, when a fan base that follow a brand like Doctor Who can see it falter like this and can have such high hopes for it, I think even if it's not personally to our taste, we still kind of want to see it. We want to see it succeed. We want to see it find a new audience, even if it's not for us anymore.
I totally disagree. What we want is Doctor Who, and he's not giving us Doctor Who. So that's what happens when you don't give the audience what they want. It tanks. And so him saying it's not doing well in the ratings is no surprise to anyone. And also remember, right, that everyone's different. And I think the fans have every right to complain and point the finger at the ratings and stuff like that. So it is what it is at the end of the day. I just hope Doctor Who will get better. That's my hope.
This has been a terrible series. Like I will never. I know I defend Doctor Who probably more than a lot of people on this show, on this panel. Not because for only the reason that I'm just like, because I know it can be so much better. That's why I do it, because I know what we.
But it's the structure, Shah. It's the structure of every. It's from the start of the 3 specials right across the board. I haven't seen any of the episodes with Ncuti in it, but I have seen YouTube videos, and I have spoken to the rabbi and lots of people that like Doctor Who, and it seems like they don't care about fans, real fans. They care about what
I don't even know if it's that. I just feel like they're trying to fix something that isn't broken. It was broken. It was broken though. Yeah,
but I again, this is not Doctor Who. He has not given us Doctor Who. The only thing that's Doctor Who is the TARDIS. That's the only thing.
He's gone on. He's elaborated a little there, and he says he claims it's doing phenomenally well with the younger audience that we wanted. So his what people would say cope on this. His claim is that he was specifically asked to re-gear it to not necessarily to a different audience, but to regenerate the audience and go for the generation that's coming up, which I think is absolutely right. I think that's what he did in 2004, 2005. But I think the mistake that they have made this time is they've kind of jettisoned the people who've been watching it for 5, 10, 20 years.
Whoever gave him that advice is absolutely stupid, because you have a huge core of real Doctor Who fans out there, and to exclude them, which is more than 50% of Doctor Who fans, it's ludicrous. So to say
the idea seemed to be
I think sorry, Dan, I think he should have tried to find the balance between old Doctor Who fans and the new Doctor Who fans. But what he did is he went completely the other way and alienated the people that buy the toys, that watches the shows, watches old Who, watches new Who. He completely alienated them. So I don't understand what he's talking about. If you cannot see what he's
I think the idea was to not. I don't think it was a deliberate effort to alienate them and to exclude them, but they did what they always do, Ian. What the BBC largely do, what these kind of elitists that think they're above everybody else tend to do, is that they take the general public for granted, and they certainly take the fandom for granted. That we will hold every course with them and continue to wave the flag and buy the stuff. And it simply isn't true. We've all got our limits, and we've all been pushed a little bit too far, really. I mean, Ncuti Gatwa may still be smiling, and I've said before, I find aspects of his performance quite endearing, and I have enjoyed it up to a point. But looking at these figures as they accumulate over the weeks hasn't been easy. So the bulk of them we've got there, the first 6 episodes.
It gets worse. It gets worse.
Down to 2.11 million viewers there on the overnight for Rogue, and The Legend of Ruby Sunday the other day. That's a big chunk. It fell even further. The Legend of Ruby Sunday overnight achieved just 2.02 million viewers, which, if you thought the figure for Rogue was bad, that's quite a chunk to lose off an already slim metric. This is very, very bad news. And obviously, I think that it's not that I think heads are going to roll, but it has to be the case that they must be looking at the material they've shot since and thinking, okay, this isn't working. Let's find out where. Let's find out why. and let's course correct.
I kind of know why, really, but they again, right? You don't underestimate what they're pushing. They're 100% behind what they're pushing, and you know what I'm talking about. So don't be too surprised. Season 2 is like this one, you know, and we know season 2's already been done. So
sorry, I'm not 100%. I would not like to be a person in that office.
You reckon they've been told off, Shah?
I just think it's really funny that RTD has gone from don't like it, don't watch. Oh, you don't like that tough. Yeah. Oh, okay, well, go and touch grass too. Well, it's not doing as well as we liked. Oh, but if you watch this and then in trying to encourage us to watch it again, I just think it's really telling. And I think I said this to you actually when we met up, is that I think Jane Tranter is not a happy bunny right now.
Yeah.
And I just would not want to be in that office.
For Russell to have actually stated and acknowledged that publicly, that is a big thing for him. He's usually like to the max all the time. They haven't yet published a consolidated figure for Rogue. They are usually out by the Monday afternoon. That's very conspicuous by its absence, isn't it, Charlotte?
How do you know what I think Rogue's going to get consolidated? I don't think it's going to crack 3 million.
Neither do I.
Because they haven't hit, because they're hitting it.
You see, they could. I'd say this again. They could have their cake and eat it. They could have addressed the old Who fans, which is the majority again, and they could have what they wanted to put in it. They could have put it in subtly, not like Sledgehammer the way they put it in. Shooty could have had a costume that was going all the way through, had the silhouette of the Doctor. They could have had some real great stories, but they didn't do that. They decided to chase this invisible audience that doesn't exist. That's what they're doing. So what else can you do but just skip it, you know?
What that shows, those figures, and I think the most telling one is the Overnights for the Legend of Ruby Sunday. Certain things that you usually always get, like your rise for your finale, if it's a two-parters, even if it's 2 parts like this one is, you still tended previously to get that rise. All the stuff that they thought was a given is now gone because trust. And I think that's the key word now going forward. The trust that the fans had to this production team, to Russell, to even Julie and the other names that were sort of associated, that's gone. The trust has been completely eroded. And it's now every episode will have to prove itself. As in... people will not watch overnights. I think that's not just because of the way that the whole, we'll have it on iPlayer the whole day. If you can't even get people on your finale lead up to come back, even if it's just a little increase, people are waiting.
Expecting 4 million. I was expecting that.
Char, there was no way. There was no way.
Yeah, but it's a finale. Do you know what I mean? Like I was still thinking even then. But do you know what? If they're getting these ratings, Russell knows how to bring a young audience in because he cracked it perfectly in 2005.
Yeah, but there's a huge difference in 2005.
I know, but what I'm just going to say is the way that he did it in 2005 is he excited the older fans.
Yes.
That excited their children, that excited their grandchildren.
Exactly, but also...
Like me.
Yeah, but Shah, also, he created stories that had impact, like Dalek was fucking fantastic. Sorry,
do you think, Ian? Do you think, Ian, that he? Do you think, Ian, that it?
Great episode. Sorry, carry on.
Do you think, Ian, that he thought that he didn't need the older generation? I'm not talking even about people in their 40s and 50s. People in their 30s who grew up with the original Russell T Davies era. That he didn't need them to show it to the children anymore, and that they would somehow find it themselves because they're permanently online or something. Do you think it was that?
No, you're avoiding the elephant in the room. It's all about the agenda. I'm sorry to keep.
Well, that isn't. No, that isn't. Is it? Ideas about demographics and how to pitch a series. That's not agenda. That's just marketing. I'm talking about marketing and publicity now. I'm not talking about wokeism and things like that.
So look, as far as I can see, the marketing was good, right? In the States, you showed pictures of them in the marketing on the tube, and they had a couple on the bus here and stuff like that. But again, we spoke about this. They didn't go out their way to make Doctor Who known that it was coming back. I only saw a few posters. I remember when Chris Eccleston was coming back. It was everywhere that we looked. So I did
see in the end, I did see a lot of posters. I was the one complaining about the posters on this show every week. In the end, I saw loads of posters, but they were all from, I'd say, the day before, maybe 48 hours before the season started, and for about 10 days afterwards there were posters everywhere, and they vanished just as quickly as they arrived. On to the next thing to promote.
What I noticed, and this is purely from moving actually from London, because I drive a lot more now, and hearing it on the radio. I'm a big Radio 1 listener in the morning. It's sick. And so I now hear it every single morning and every single evening when I come home, which is so wrong. It should have been way before. It should have been absolutely everywhere before this came out. When I went to work on the Friday, it was every hour. There was something about Doctor Who on the radio, about watching it. That's not a coincidence. I really don't think so. I don't think that is it just so happens to be because I'm noticing it because I'm a Who fan. I was like, Jesus Christ, there's so much. It was almost too much. They are desperate to bring people in. Is
the next episode going to be in the cinema, Dan?
Yes, that's the one that they're showing in cinemas, selected cinemas up and down the UK. So I think at 11 o'clock, they're showing The Legend of Ruby Sunday. And then at midnight, time to coincide with the premiere of it on Disney Plus and iPlayer, it'll kick off in the cinemas as well. So people can see them both on the big screen in the cinema. I'd be tempted to go if it wasn't so late. So we've got a few more comments there in the live chat, and people are convinced of a few different things. And Shooty needs to go, says Paul Toast, and he feels very strongly that Shooty, that's the problem. And we have a comment here from Bunch of Wallies, who says it's going to be cancelled. It's a Bunch of Wallies. That's not going to be cancelled. Yes, it's cancelled after the second season. So, this is where we've got some breaking news. We can exclusively break this story now on Type 40 Live. This is from contacts that I've got. I have every faith in these contacts. So just as the first season comes to a close this coming Saturday, and yes, with ratings lower than ever, I can break the news now that, according to my sources, Doctor Who has been recommissioned for a third season. So BBC Studios has commissioned Bad Wolf to make a further season, which will star Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor for a third time. Russell T Davies was told of this in the middle, towards the end of last week. Ncuti Gatwa, for the time being, he's away, so he's taking a break in between seasons. So he's off. I think he's in theatre shoot. He's appearing in The Importance of Being Earnest up to Christmas, I think. So yeah, that's his little bit of respite, I suppose, from the TARDIS to do other things and hopefully to think about his performance and his characterisation, and then come back refreshed for this third season, because I suppose it was quite intense to make those two back-to-back. But yes, exclusively, we can tell you this here on at Type 40 Live, be in no doubt, this has been recommissioned by BBC Studios for a third season.
I tell you what,
if he has, then he's got a chance now to make Doctor Who.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, yeah, exactly. My thought was, because we've all sort of said this as well, the first two series felt like Russell had no restrictions. He had no sort of anybody over him, really, not controlling him, that's not the right word. He basically got free reign, let's put it that way. I'm intrigued if there's been conditions for him to get this third season. If there's been certain things said, if you want it, Russell, you're going to have to play ball a bit more with us. You can't swan in and say, oh, no executive can say no to me. I think those days are long gone now. Let's put it that in BBC's eyes. He's not.
Conversations will.
A little bit of a gag on him. And I think it's completely right too as well. That guy can destroy this show that he can so wonderfully make as well.
Yeah, I agree. They need to put a gag, but I think there needs to be more oversight when it comes to what's actually in these episodes. There needs to be more oversight.
There is, though, but who's overseeing it? That's my problem.
It has to be obviously the people that weren't doing it before, Shah. That's my point. There needs to be other people now who are not part of this creative team.
But this is a co-production between several people. So the initial dialogue, the primary dialogue. Again, I know it's very attractive to tag this as Disney Who and make it all about Disney. It's not all about Disney. Disney do not commission this show. Disney don't pay for the bulk of it. It's commissioned by BBC Studios. They commissioned Bad Wolf to make this show. Bad Wolf is pretty much part of Sony. So those are the main players in this. Disney do have a say up to a point. Of course they do, but it's not up to them whether Doctor Who gets commissioned or not. And they don't pay for it. They don't bankroll this thing. Ratings don't matter then, says John Yulden, for the time being. It looks like they don't.
Someone is piling a lot of money into this, and you don't pile a lot of money.
We know who's doing it.
But it's because it's the, well, to be honest, it's the biggest brand the BBC have got left. They've fucked up Top Gear.
What about that Dancing with the Stars thing?
I would imagine that. I know in Britain that even its popularity is starting to wane ever so slightly. I don't know if it's still sold as a format overseas. Maybe it is. So it might be doing better in some territories than others. But Doctor Who is the biggest thing left that they've got that can be sort of malleable. They've soured practically everything else or lost it. They lost the Great British Bake Off, other stuff they're associated with like Peaky Blinders. They don't make that either. Now, they have a first broadcast rights to that, and after that it goes off to Netflix and it's never seen again. So Doctor Who is a bit, so they can't afford. What can I say? They can't afford. They're going to have more patience and give this more tries than a lot of things, because it's potentially, if they get it right, it is a cash cow. Third season, improve show or bust, says Rob Alexander. And Tony Farrell asks, do I know if Disney is still on board? No, I don't. But it was never conditional for Disney being involved in the first place. So let us know what you think of all that. Are you surprised that Doctor Who has, according to my sources I trust implicitly, it has been recommissioned for a third season, and Bad Wolf and Russell T Davies were told about this at the end of last week. There is other announcements on the way as well, everybody. Lots on the way. Doctor Who will not feel the grip of death just yet. This moment here on screen at the weekend did send shivers up my spine, and snapshots of it, screenshots, were all over social media over the weekend. And this one amused me in particular. This comment about it from Marie Claire, from Marie Claire's World, and she's took a picture of this with a sofa buddy. I think it could be a significant other, and she says, "I bet you can't guess which one of us has watched the classic era." And the laughing emoji, just as the precise moment that the nature of the beast was revealed. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. Marie Claire is a YouTuber, and she does these sort of watch-alongs, doesn't she? Watch-throughs and reaction shows, doesn't she, Shah? And she's certainly done the entirety of the classic show. So I just thought this was absolutely wonderful. What are your reactions? That's what we need to know. Let us know in the comments there. And how psyched are you for the continuation coming this weekend, of course, over there on the iPlayer, Disney Plus, and the usual places. Speaking about the usual places, you can get the Type 40 podcast in the usual places. You can find that at our home feed at type40.podbean.com, as always. So there's a whole library there of reviews, previews, interviews, geek outs, and deep dives with all our regular panelists and lots more awesome guests. You can find it on Spotify and across all major podcatchers too. Oh, time to wet the whistle, I think, Ian. Wet the whistle a little bit. What do you think? Get your gams round a Jaffa cake or two. Let's have a quick break. Let's have a quick break with a golden face and golden voice from the past, and we'll meet you back here in a couple of minutes.
Is BBC Three.
Across immeasurable distances in space, through the vast tracts of time, amongst the furthest flung of the galaxies, I have met with the strangest creatures in the universe: Daleks, Cybermen, even the dreaded Wogan from the planet Shepherd's Bush, and long green slimy things with tentacles and stingers, and strange orifices that leak unpleasant liquids. But now, BBC Three presents the slimiest of them all. Roland Rat, the series. Yeah! Well, you have been watching Roland Rat, the series. And now, back to BBC One for Doctor Who, the series. Rubbish!
I'm sorry, Doctor, but even Time Lords have to wait sometimes. Here's Scragtag.
I know what you're thinking. What on earth is Scragtag? I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. You're watching Type 40 Live, our early edition streaming to Rumble, X, YouTube, and to Facebook too, here in the console room. Okay, what next? What next? Yes, the part of the Doctor over 61 years, all these decades, has proven a bit of a star maker. And it's arguably the case that the actors who tend to land the role, the ones that endure the most and really tunnel deep into the hearts of the viewing public, are often the ones that are practically unknown talents when they're actually cast. And we go with them out on these adventures in time and space. Even when it's a totally new face, we trust them just as the companions trust them. And everything that was old is new again. And when it's finally over, we feel their loss. We miss our favourites, especially and obviously because we've spent so much time with them and we've seen them be born, and then we see them die, don't we, in a burst of flames. The actors themselves, their lives and their careers move on, and we continue to follow them, don't we? Some of them never really leave Doctor Who behind, but we keep an eye on what they do. We may not watch literally everything they're in. Oh, no, maybe we do in the case of some of us. I don't know. But it has to be the case that when an actor appears in a role like the Doctor, it can really make childhoods, and those things can last an absolute lifetime. And as such, I think we form the connections, but we can also be very protective of them, and none more so than Matt Smith. I think maybe it was because he was so young when he was cast in the role back in 2009 from nowhere or next to nowhere. Do you remember him being cast in the role there, Charlotte?
Oh, yes. I can remember The Confidential where he got revealed, because I had quite a few mates that were Who fans, and they were so despondent and sort of down because Tennant was leaving.
Yeah,
and then they saw Matt, and like you said, nobody really knew him. God love him, he looks scruffy, he looks a bit unkempt when he got revealed. And he wasn't what people were expecting, I think, honestly. So I think he did sort of shock. But I think that's what initially, before I even watched him on screen, a bit of me liked the fact that he was underdog and people weren't gunning for him. So I wanted to, I think, a little bit.
You think that's what it was? Was that the same for you, Char?
I hated him. I really
Did you really?
I was one of those people that were like, no, I will never like him. He is not fit to play the Doctor. I saw him, I thought he's really cool, but that was about it. I didn't like him. I thought that he'd be terrible. And I remember his first scene actually when Tennant regenerated, and I was like, he is dreadful. And if you know me, you know how much I love him. So it is the best. I don't know what the right word is, but it was the best time that I've ever been proven wrong, and I'm so glad I was proven wrong. I adore him so much. I miss him.
It was quite a turnaround.
I miss him. It really was, and I regret and feel bad that I was so not interested at all. You
weren't feeling it. Sure, there was a wall of resistance that was built up a little bit because David Tennant was so beloved. But you loved Matt Smith instantly, didn't you, Ian?
Oh God, yeah. When they announced him, I was like, oh, okay, because I was getting tired of David Tennant. And then immediately when he changed from David Tennant and he kissed his knee, I thought, this is the Doctor. This is definitely the Doctor. And there's that really brief sequence where he spits at the console, like he was trying to put the fire out on the console. So I just immediately when I saw that, when he was like, I'm not Ginger, I just thought, this is the Doctor. And then the episode, the 11th hour came out, and I was totally convinced. I was sold immediately when he came out that TARDIS. I was sold that this guy is the Doctor. So there you go.
You never felt he was too young for the role, like so many did?
Nope, because basically, once he opened his mouth, once he was doing crazy things like a doctor, that's when I accepted him as the Doctor. Do you know what I mean? I could see how young he is, but he wasn't acting young. He was acting like there was 1,000-year-old man within that body. And that's perfect because that's the Doctor, right?
And then he was acting alien. And I think that was the first thing I clicked. I was like, that's
you'd believe it, wouldn't you?
I love that we've got, because Eccleston and Tennant in some ways were very human. And then Matt came along and it was like, no, this is a weirdo. This is like somebody who's odd, who's weird. And it's like, yes, finally we've got that in the Doctor.
It is. I mean, there are some bits I didn't like in the 11th Hour, but overall, right, he carried that episode beautifully, I might add. Even when he was putting on the clothes, he stole the clothes from the hospital and stuff, and he stepped through that thing and he said, I am the Doctor. You were immediately convinced that this man is the Doctor. Do you know what I mean? So he was, for me, he's probably one of the best to play the Doctor.
It is the best opening episode to introduce a Doctor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's how much disliked.
I can't let's put it this way. It may not be my favourite one, but I can't think of a better one, if you follow me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, even I said that I didn't like when he regenerated because I didn't think that he was a Doctor. I actually kind of cheer inside when I watch that regeneration scene.
Yeah,
and he comes out and he's the whole like, and he's there, and I'm like, there he is.
But it's really funny because Moffat, right? It's obvious that Moffat wanted to prove himself, and it's obvious that he watched other episodes. If you watch the regeneration in Classic Who, they always do something goofy. Like Tom Baker with the different costumes and John Pertwee with the goofiness. And so the goofiness for Matt was the throwing the food away. You know, want something to eat, throw the food away. Yeah. And that was the goofiness in that scene because the Doctor has to do something. The only thing that Moffat changed about this regeneration is that he wasn't weak. He wasn't suffering from regeneration sickness or whatever stuff. Like he just carried on being the Doctor all the way through that episode, solved the problem. Do you know what I mean? Had his unique take on, and I even like the bit where they had the camera thing where the Doctor was thinking and the camera went all around.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, people hated that. So many people were bitching about that. I loved it.
Yeah, they need to shut the traps. It was great.
Over in the live chat there on YouTube, Ian Scale says Matt Smith's era is one of my favourites, but I agree. I admit I had my doubts. A great many people did. Yeah. Cyber Matt Strike says new body is like a new house. It takes time to fit in.
But as I said, he fit in immediately. There was no grey area that this man wasn't the Doctor. Immediately when his head stuck out of the TARDIS, that was the Doctor, and it's very rare to have an actor it fits like a glove for Matt Smith. You know,
it took me a long time to get. It took me longer for me to get into Tennant and Capaldi than it did for Matt.
Yeah,
and that says a lot. That says how good an actor he is. But you're quite right, Ian. I love saying it. He is an old man in a young man's body.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, bless him. Well, Matt Smith is now 41 years old and he's never stopped talking about Doctor Who, talking it up, supporting its current stars and supporting the fans at fan events. He'll come out and meet them when work allows. He's done lots of stage work since leaving the series. Over a decade since he left the series. And if you remember, he was a young footballer, wasn't he, before he turned to acting? So he's done all these different things, but he went straight into American Psycho after Doctor Who, and recently he's been in something called An Enemy of the People, which seemed to result in him getting splattered in paint every night of the week. Every picture I saw of this guy at that play, and people were sort of meeting him and going to meet him at the stage door. He always looked like he'd been to hell and back. Big screen success has been pretty elusive. He seems to have had the wrong parts in the wrong films consistently. Yeah. It's like it's been awful to watch this talented actor go through that. Which is the outlier then, Ian?
There was it in Soho, that film. That was a
great
Last Night in
Soho.
Yeah, he was great in that. And the film, I think it was a success. I really enjoyed that film. I thought it worked very well, and he was good in it. So,
I think,
mind you, he wasn't a main star, was he? So,
I think the thing is with Matt, he's such a unique actor that I think he still struggles now to some degree to fit into the Hollywood system because he's very unique. He's a character actor. He needs sort of these really meaty roles to really sort of let him shine. And I just think that's hard to find in the current setup in Hollywood.
Maybe I'm going to make a guess now. Maybe he'll be cast in a TV show as a detective, because that usually happens to actors in England. Like you take David Jason, for instance.
Like Hugh Laurie. Hugh Laurie got House.
Yeah,
that kind of big thing.
Yeah, he does look like someone that's really clever.
They either end up playing detectives or surgeons.
Yeah, well,
or a surgeon detective.
Just in the bill.
Yeah, the bill doesn't exist anymore.
Everyone goes into the bill at some point. Casualty now or Holby City.
Yeah, because even David Tennant ended up as a cop, didn't he, in that Broadchurch?
In Broadchurch, yeah. Matt Smith has successfully reinvented himself and regenerated his appeal on TV, on the small screen. I mean, he was fantastic in The Crown playing Prince Philip. Did you watch all of those as well, Ian? Did you follow him to that show?
No, I didn't watch all of them, but the ones I watched with him in it, I thought he was superb. And all the rest of the cast was superb as well. Fantastic photography, well thought out screenplay. It was just a joy to watch. It's a shame I haven't watched every episode, but I will get around to it, I guess.
When you do, you
absolutely adored it.
It is the best cast show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
There's not a bad actor in The Crown.
No.
There really
isn't. It's absolutely superb, and of course now he is the baddest man in Westeros. He's Daemon Targaryen in House of the Dragon, which I'm absolutely thrilled to say premieres its second season right now as we speak. I think it started on Sunday the 16th of June in the States. I think we get it on Sky Atlantic here in Britain tonight. Now that's where it's going to premiere, and I'm really excited to have this back. So have you followed him to House of the Dragon, Charlotte?
Well, yeah, because I like my fantasy. Like that is just something that I tend to watch anyway. And then as soon as I knew Matt was in it, and also once I got the vibe, he was playing a slightly more dubious character, a slightly more morally grey, sort of not very nice
morally grey?
well, no, because in his eyes, he's doing the right thing.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, nobody thinks they're bad, ever. Not even Darth Vader thought he was bad. Darth Vader thought he was doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? So that's the key. That's the key to being a villain, right? The villain always has to think that what they're doing is right. You know. So
this is such a great part. You would think it'd be a gift to any actor. Matt Smith needed some persuasion to take this role. He wanted to give it a wide berth. What convinced him was the fact that Paddy Considine had signed on to play his big brother in season 1. That's what got him interested. But if Paddy Considine's doing it, a very well respected actor, then perhaps I should get on board too. The series premiere of this in 2020, when was it? 2022, I think it was watched by 10 million people across the various channels on the very first day of release. So it was the biggest premiere that HBO has ever had in its entire history, and it went on to win Golden Globe awards for as best television drama and various acting awards as well, outstanding drama series, all those kind of things, and 3 British Television Craft Awards too, because the production values on this are absolutely outstanding, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Charlotte blew up. She's gone. I don't know where she's gone.
It was too much.
She'll be back.
Too much for her. Oh, she's back.
She'll be back.
It's my bleeding internet tonight. Sorry, everybody.
It's okay.
Too much Matt Smith. It just drove you over.
Probably,
Probably the best of us.
But you could see. You see, I'm smiling, right? When you were talking about shooting, I wasn't smiling at all because honestly, that's just beyond me. But Matt Smith is one of the best doctors ever. Right, and don't take my word for it. If you haven't seen him as a doctor, go and seek him out. He's brilliant at it. So there you go.
Better than Pertwee?
Well, no, Pertwee's a different era, and I love Pertwee, and I think Pertwee's still one of the best. Tom, Pertwee, and Matt, I think are the 3 top in my world, of course. So
yeah, of course.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this show. You can have your favorite.
Yeah.
impossible to beat. Obviously, with the House of the Dragon, it's an ensemble show, so Matt does share screen time and various interweaving storylines, doesn't he? With a whole collection of actors, most of them nasty pieces of work as well. They're very well drawn, very well developed characters with lots of good and bad sides to them. But I think that quite clearly it's Matt Smith that's the star of this show. His is the standout character. I think it's unarguable. So. How do you feel as a Doctor Who fan? You know, particularly if you were young when he first took the role, and sure, if you didn't like him at first as well. When you see an actor like Matt Smith have success after success after success, it's a nice feeling, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. Even if I didn't watch House of the Dragon because I didn't like the end of Game of Thrones, so I just of any sort of spin-off. But yeah, it's great to sort of see them because, like you said, Matt Smith to anyone else came from nowhere. So to see them rise up, and a bit like Karen Gillan, never seen her before in anything, apart from Doctor Who actually. So it was nice to see. It's nice to see all these people that you sort of grow up watching and you love get these great roles in real life. I think Matt's too good for Hollywood actually. I would.
You might be right. You might be right.
I think he's had a lucky escape with some of those films. Apparently, he was cut out of a Star Wars movie. The Morbius film, thank heaven nobody saw that. People will forget he's in it in next to no time. Tony Hell in the live chat says, Matt Smith, I think he's one of the best actors to play the Doctor. As the Doctor, he's really goofy and nerdy, which was ace. And in real life, he could easily be part of the Britpop crowd. Well, he wasn't at, what's his name, Noel Gallagher's 50th birthday. God, that was years ago as well, because he's like pushing 60 now. So he's very much in with that crowd. He likes like mod music and Britpop music. There you go. Heretic has hit us with his top 3 Doctors: McCoy, Troughton and Smith. Wow. Is that in that order? Is that Heretic? I don't know.
You said about him being a footballer though. He was a footballer in Leicester.
Of course he was.
Didn't even know.
It's funny because when I watched the season 1 with Matt, especially the one with the I can never remember the titles, the one with the vampires. I'm always surprised how young he looks in those.
He looks like a baby.
He looks like a kid. He looks
Vampire,
like a kid.
Yeah.
And while you were watching it, that would never occur to you. Do you know what I mean? So, sorry.
I did love that though, because people didn't take him seriously. I don't mean Matt, I mean the Doctor. They just saw this young face and be like, oh, what do you know? And actually, he managed to outsmart them. A bit like Troughton-esque. He liked it when people underestimated him because of how clever he was, and then he'd be able to sort of outsmart them in that way. And I love that.
I love the lines as well. Like this is so Christmas, he says in one line, doesn't he? And you know the youthfulness and the the excitement,
exuberance.
It was fantastic. You know, so
but what I loved for all which is so much of the positive traits. What you talked about, the childishness, the exuberance, the sort of hopefulness, for all of that. That is one of those Doctors that I do not want to cross. Because when he then turned, he was like ice. He was like a completely different character in the best way. And when he was threatening people, it was like he didn't shout, he didn't bawl at them. He went quieter. He went more controlled with his voice. And I think that had more of an effect. Honestly,
it definitely did. It felt almost menacing, and it made the Doctor feel unknowable. Stephen Braddock in the live chat here on YouTube says, I remember watching that and I thought, no, he can't replace Tennant. But after the first scene in the 11th hour, it was pure magic and I was hooked. Vanessa Law says, I started with Matt. I had to go back to watch Eccleston and to watch Tennant. Bunch of Wallace says, it took him an episode to get into it. Tennant didn't feel like the Doctor until The Runaway Bride for me. So, just one episode, though, for Matt Smith.
Yeah, a lot of people. And the thing about Matt Smith is, he can be goofy and he can be, but when he gets really angry, you, as Charlotte says, watch out. It's the same thing. It's always the same thing when you have characters that are kind and nice to everyone. You know, like I give an example, Columbo. Columbo has been angry like 5 times in the whole of the run of Columbo. But when he gets angry, right, you really do sit back on your chair. You are taken aback because he is so mild-mannered and he's so nice to people. Same thing with Matt. Matt was kind to everyone. His doctor was kind to everyone. But when you got on the wrong side of him, boy, did you have to sit back. Do you know what I mean? So that's a good trait of the Doctor, which is missing from obviously the new one, of course. But there you go. Yeah.
Matt, how we miss you, says Lord Thoth in the live chat. A Psychic Beats claims that Matt Smith's been filming down near me recently for a Sky show. Something about Nick Cave. Nick Cave, yeah, I've heard there's a biopic, a Nick Cave biopic on the way, so it could be that. I don't know who Matt would play. I don't know who Matt would play in that one. Richard here is moaning about The Crown being historically inaccurate. Well, it's an entertainment, Richard. I think it's the documentary, is it? Where the McCoy fans are in, standing up for Sylvester McCoy. Gary Akers is in the live chat, and he says if he avoided being in a Star Wars movie, he should count himself lucky. I couldn't agree more.
Well, the fact is he didn't avoid it; he was in it, but they took his character out of it. So he shot a lot of stuff, and they just eliminated his character because they didn't like the way the story was going. They had a lot of problems with that last one anyway. So.
Yeah,
he got paid. You know what I mean?
I forgot about this. Psychic Beats reminds us that Matt Smith was in 2 music videos for Noel Gallagher back in 2021. I do remember seeing those now. He's done so much, Charlotte.
He can disappear almost. It's quite amazing. He'll be in something, and then you go, "Oh, Matt's in there," and then he'll disappear again. It's such a skill in a good way.
I remember when I heard it was him, there was a show on BBC Two that he was in, and I actually ended up watching it to see what it was like.
Party Animals, the political one.
Yeah, and I wasn't convinced, but as I said, when I saw him change from Tennant then I thought, this guy's the Doctor, so there you go.
So he wasn't a complete unknown before Doctor Who, but it was a next to unknown. So Party Animals was again an ensemble show about young solicitors, wasn't it? Was it? No, it was young politicians. Of course it was, because that's where the party come from. I think they were young politicians trying to make their way in the Commons. But it only lasted for a year, and he had a bit part in the Billy Piper series, The Secret Diary of a Core Girl. I think he was in that.
Well, he was in something else with Billy. He was in Sally Lockhart. They had like that series and he was like a lesser character in that, but he did have more of a part in that, but it was still quite lower down.
He was very close to Billy in Secret Diary of a Core Girl.
achingly close. Yeah, the Matt Smith era is one that, when I look back on it, there are some stories that I barely remember, I've got to be honest, but I know that when I do hit play again, they're never a chore to watch, even the ones that I didn't enjoy quite so much, because he gives it his all. I think that most of the actors who've played the Doctor have indeed done that, and so it's no real surprise to see him go on and excel in other parts, and for them to look at these characters and think, who could we possibly have to play this, to play all sides to it? Because the way that you describe the characters having flipped there, when he can go very, very quiet and almost malevolent, from being looking completely innocent and fresh-faced one minute to dark the next. There's not many actors, I think, that can do that as convincingly as Matt Smith. And as he gets older, he seems to get better at it. Yeah, well, experience, right?
So cool.
Experience. He's got the experience behind him. Also, he still has that youthful look. Even though he's in his 40s, is he now?
He's 41.
Yeah, he still looks like he can play the Doctor. He doesn't look. David Tennant in the last run, he looked really old, in my opinion. They should never have brought him back. But
David is 54, isn't he now? Matt Smith's 41. Yeah. So he's got a bit craggier.
Yeah, I think he'll make a good detective. Good detective. Give him a detective show. That's what I say.
A detective show.
Another reason why him and Karen has made it big in film world is because, remember, Doctor Who was huge in America when Matt Smith did it. So obviously the agents, the actors' agents out there and producers and stuff like that are going to see the show as a huge hit and bank on them. So that's one of the reasons why they did excel. I mean, it took a bit of time for David to excel in America. He starred in Jessica Jones, which is a really great part he had as the Purple Man and stuff like that, and other shows as well. That one with where he played the devil or something like that. That was a long-running show, wasn't it? The
Good Omens.
Good Omens and stuff like that. So it took him time to get there. But for Karen and Matt, it didn't take them that much because it was a huge hit in America, and America knew who Doctor Who was. So that's one of the reasons why, I guess, just guessing, of course.
I suspect eventually. I mean, I was rooting for him to get the part of Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four.
Oh, that would be fantastic
for Marvel Studios. He would have been amazing. They've gone with Pedro Pascal instead. Work that one out. He has gone on to make another film, though. And I sent you guys the trailer to this, didn't I? This brand new film that's out in September. It's called Starve Acre, a British horror movie based on Andrew Hurley's 2019 novel of the same name. And it seems to be the latest in a long and rich lineage of these sort of folk horror British movies like The Wicker Man and The Witchfinder General, all that kind of thing. Small casts are usually filmed somewhere dank, muddy, and leafy and depressing. Lots of knitwear and scowling and ritual sacrifice, and you get a lot of stuffed animals in this. Taxidermy always plays a strong part in these kind of films. So, did you catch the trailer to Starve Acre, this new film, Charlotte? And does it look like your cup of tea?
I didn't know about it until you sent it to me. But to me, this looks very much like an indie sort of, like I said, that very British sort of folk horror. And I think this is the type of thing Matt will shine in, especially as it looks like from the trailer, he's sort of playing an unassuming character. And then near the end, there's hints that there's more going on with his character.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about before. He can do that layered, he can do that complex sort of character work.
Because it's fine to chew the scenery on House of the Dragon for 10 episodes where he gets to sort of rain fire and hell and to shag anything that moves. But in something like this, though, he gets to dial it back a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I think even in House, if you ever watch him there, he's quite dialed back there, set from certain moments when
sometimes, yeah.
High. So that seems to be how he acts a lot now, which I think works for him.
It's an excessive character in quite a large, audacious series where, as you said,
there's a lot of there's like I said, he's very audacious when he needs to be. He's Damien sort of. He enjoys life and he takes everything out of it kind of character. Whereas here, he looks like a bit of a miserable husband in like a leafy little town. Nothing much is going on. So there's definitely differences there.
Mm-hmm. Is this the kind of film that you enjoy, Shah? Would you make the time to see this? A small, independent British film that's likened to The Wicker Man and Rosemary's Baby there by the Mary Sue. Oh, what do they know? Well, I was right about the stuffed animals. Look, well, near enough. That animal, something's happened to that animal there. Were you going to go for this? Do you like the scary ones?
This is totally up my street. I love stuff like The Wicker Man, actually. And I like... Not odd. What genre is it? I guess Charlotte's right. It's like folk horror, isn't it? And I like that kind of thing. Yeah, so this is right up my street. But again, like Charlotte, I did not know about this until you sent it over. I actually watched it on my lunch, so it was it was nice. But
did it creep you out over your pot noodle?
It creeped me out over my tuna sub.
I was close.
You were very close. You were very close. Yeah, God, I can't afford a pot noodle. And the cost of living crisis.
What do you think about him in the knitwear there? It's that's a look and a half, isn't it?
I've got a job like that, except it's in cream. It looks very cozy and very comfy. But what is he in? A trench? A grave? What is that?
He's digging a grave.
I think it's going to be a grave, isn't it, Ian? So Ian, you've been on a few locations in your time. You've shouted action many times on low budget movies, haven't you? So what are your instincts about this one, about Starve Acre with Matt Smith?
It looks interesting. I don't think this is going to be people queuing up around the corner to see this film. It's an independent film. It's probably going to end up in stream. It's going to have like a one run in the cinema and end up streaming. Yeah. But you can see what's happening in the trailer. He's slowly going mad, isn't he? The usual slowly going mad thing. That kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting because if he's the main star in the film, so he's going to be, front and center. So it'd be interesting to see because he's leading the film. So it'd be interesting to see how he leads a feature. Because I think the majority of the stuff he's been a co-star in them, isn't he? He hasn't led a film, right? Am I right?
Not outright, no.
Yeah. So this is his first lead in a film. So, but it looks good though. I'd probably go and see it because I'm a big fan of Matt Smith. I like to support Matt Smith and everything he does, especially when you saw that clip where he was with that kid and they said, "Oh no, you can't do this," and he was like, "No, bring the kid over here," breaking all the rules. What a kind guy he is. Do you know what I mean? So I'd support him definitely. So I'll probably go and see it anyway. So it looks okay. I'll see it.
We got
watch, doesn't it?
Yes.
I think it really does. I'm gonna go for this. I have to be in the right mood to watch those kinds of films, but no, I'm absolutely going for that. We have more comments here in the live chat, and Mysterios asks, "Was Matt Smith in The Terminator?" He was briefly, wasn't he? Which film was that? Was it
Genesis.
the one with Emilia Clarke?
Yes, Genesis. He was in that one towards the ending, and he was meant to do the sequel to that, but obviously it didn't make enough money, so they cancelled it. So there you go.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone has seen, says Tony L, but he was in the last series of This Time with Alan Partridge playing a journalist. I did see that. I'm a massive Alan Partridge fan, but I found that series a huge disappointment. So much so I've never gone back to it. I totally forgot that Matt was in it, but he was great in it. But he's great. He's great in everything. Fly Highland says, "I was in year 8 when Matt was announced, and shortly after in school they showed one of those bullying is wrong films in class where Matt Smith played the bully." I didn't even know about that. Did you, Charlotte?
No, but I know what kind of films those terrible infomercial things that they showed at schools.
Yeah.
They're the best.
I'd love to see that though. I'd love to see it.
Nice bit of fun. Time Lord Victoria says the most critical thing was Matt Smith treated the role of getting the Doctor with respect to its history. And to its fans. No talk of touching grass back then. Absolutely not. John Jordan says Matt Smith is the Doctor and exudes it from every fibre of his being.
He did.
Couldn't
Even
agree
when he
more.
had crappy scripts to deal with, he forged forward.
Yeah.
That's the guy who does his research. That's the guy who does his homework.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Yeah.
JG says, "I love a bit of folk horror, and Matt Smith is worth watching in pretty much anything." So that's somebody else could be interested in Starvaker there.
They put a basket on his head with bees in it. If they do that, then not the bees. Yeah.
Then it's all over. Yeah. So that's Starvaker. It's set for release on the 6th of September. Here in Britain. I'm not sure about the rest of the world. Don't know what's going on with that there.
I think Matt realises we're helping him. We're helping to promote his film. He doesn't realise it.
Of course he appreciates it. Of course he does.
That shot, he's just so cool.
Yeah.
So let us know in the live chat there. Are you down for either Starvaker, and are you happy to see Matt Smith back in House of the Dragon? A moment ago, we mentioned his Oppo, Karen Gillan. Ian, you're quite a fan of hers as well, aren't you? Here she's all fresh-faced again in 2010 when they were both fresh to the roles of the Doctor and Amy Pond. Wow, it was such a long time ago. If Matt Smith looks young, she looks positively. She looks like she should go off a paper round or something. I don't know.
She went straight from that to the Marvel films, and she was hardly recognisable in the Marvel films as well.
Fabulous in it.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
So
so she left Doctor Who in 2012 after playing Amy Pond, and the blockbuster success there. The Guardian films. The first one was 2014, wasn't it? And then there's been 2 sequels to that, and there's the Jumanji films as well, which is at least 2. I think there's a 3rd one of those on the way. So Karen hasn't really looked back. Hasn't looked back either, and she's got a new series about to start as well. So this is Douglas is Cancelled. Karen Gillan plays Madeleine in this series. It's described as a cancel culture series, and it's a drama comedy. Stars Hugh Bonneville and Karen Gillan, and it airs on Thursday, the 27th of June, so later on in the month at 9 p.m. on ITV1. So this is written by Stephen Moffat, believe it or not, as well.
Interesting.
I totally believe it. It has been promoted to death on TV. And I'm
has it?
going to be one that's going to be watching it. Yeah, it's really well cast.
I like Hugh though. I think Hugh's a really good actor. Very approachable, if you know what I mean, when you're watching him. Very, you don't say, "Oh, it's that actor again." It's kind of a good actor.
I like him more in some things than others. But what interests me about this, and usually I'd give any comedy on ITV a really wide berth, but I get the impression it's an independent production because Sue Virtue, Stephen Moffat's wife's involved, so it must be an independent. And it is Stephen Moffat's first comedy series in 20 years since Coupling 20 years ago.
Mm. It might be good, though.
Considering he started his TV career with comedy, and then he sort of hasn't touched it since.
Well,
he has in theatre.
Yeah.
I didn't know he'd done stuff in theatre.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really. I only went to go and watch it because Lee Mack was in it. So he wrote something called The Unfriend. It was actually him and Mark Gatiss.
Unfriended.
Very good.
Yeah. A lot of good
reviews. It's really good.
I haven't seen it.
Square Station.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know there's loads of great reviews saying it's really good, so I might.
Oh, it's howling! It was brilliant.
All right, cool.
What struck me about this is, I'm not as huge a Karen Gillan fan as a lot of people. I don't find it particularly. I think she's very beautiful, but I don't find it particularly attractive. It's just not my. Far too tall, far too skinny, and far too ginger. But I do like her as a person. I think she's a very amusing person. If you follow her on social media, it's very, very quirky. She genuinely loves her geek culture, loves her movies, and she's got a great sense of humor. So she has done comedy before. She was in the Kevin Bishop Show. I think that was even before Doctor Who. And then there was that pilot that she made for American network TV called Selfie. Never went anywhere, like the one that David Tennant did about the lawyer. Rex is not your lawyer. That's what it was called. That went nowhere either. So Karen fell flat on her face with that pilot. But here she is in this 4-part series by Stephen Moffat. Now she has worked with Hugh Bonneville before. Yes. They were both in The Curse of the Black Spot. So which series was this, Charlotte? Can you remember? Series 6, was it?
I'm trying to remember it's series 5 of series 6. I think it was series 6.
Early on in series 6.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad episode either, I thought the episode was.
But that was one of the worst. And that's
I know a lot of people say that. Yeah, I think it was.
I liked it as well.
Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable personally.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was one of the worst back in them days.
Yeah.
That was that was what we said. Oh, that's not as good as the other ones, but I love it. I rewatch this all the time.
You appreciate what went in the past after obviously discovering what we got now. So yeah.
Hugh Bonneville starred in Paddington Bear with Doctor Who alum Peter Capaldi.
Absolutely.
Reminds Doctor Who at 60 and beyond.
Yeah. Again, Hughes is a nice guy as far as I can tell. His performance, he's very natural, just like Peter. So I love the Paddington films, and they're making another one.
Me too.
So I love them.
They are. Yeah.
They're so wholesome.
Several people in the live chat are reminding me that Alex Kingston is also in Douglas's Council. She plays Douglas's wife. Douglas obviously being played by Hugh Bonneville there. So there's going to be lots of familiar faces in that show. And Stephen Moffat's Time Traveller's Wife, that fell flat on its face. That was that on Amazon a couple of years ago now. So I think in some ways maybe doing something a bit smaller and something funny, no timey-wimey. Having said that, knowing Stephen Moffat, there might be a bit of timey-wiminess in there somewhere, because there was Evelyn coupling. It's got to be a good thing. But most of all, I think I'm relieved. I think it's going to be a novelty to see Karen Gillan get to play some comedy, because I think her instincts very much lie in that direction. She's very, very funny in those Jumanji films. I think it's an ensemble cast again, isn't it? With Jack Black and The Rock and Kevin Hart.
At that picture. So there you go.
I'd love to look like her.
She does look very sultry there. Yeah, I'm a bit keener. I'm a bit keener on her there. But she was kind of the big revelation there, because the other three, they get to do pretty much, the other three main cast members got to do the stuff you've seen them do before. Jack Black is Jack Black. He's the fat hysterical one. You've got Kevin Hart as the wise guy, and you've got The Rock being all hard. So Karen Gillan playing Ruby Roundhouse, I think it's a fantastic character.
Yep.
Do so hope they make more of these.
And in that costume as well. So there you
It's a little bit like Rebecca Gold's costume at the top.
Oh God, no!
You think it is? You think it is?
I don't think so.
But it's the same with Matt. It's the same with Matt Smith. Obviously, Karen Gillan's been far more successful in her choice of movies, and movies have made a lot more money. And so, in many respects, she's probably is she the bigger star, or when you work it out on aggregate, comparing the TV to the movies, because they say that the line between TV and movies isn't really there anymore. Is Karen the bigger star, or are they about equal? What do you think?
I think Karen's the biggest star.
I would argue with sort of the cachet, of having Marvel and some of the other stuff she's done. But I would say Matt's probably done more interesting work.
Well, interesting is not the word to use for some of the stuff he's been in. They've been awful, most of them.
Like,
anyway.
yeah, but there's always something different with what Matt seems to pick. Oh, there seems to be a bit more of something going on. And I'm not knocking Karen's choices. Good on you, girl, for getting into the movies you got into. Just say they're a bit more popcorny.
Well, the whole, again, everybody knows this, the whole of the playing field for movies has changed. And Dan just said it, the line between TV and film now, it's getting very thin, isn't it? So, they're getting paid just as much to do TV than they are when they make movies. So, no wonder why. She probably got a good wage for this one. And because it's a Moff anyway. She's worked with Moff before. So, that's
got his mates in this one, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Karen's really good in a Netflix film called The Bubble. Shah, have you heard of that one? Tony L's recommending it here in the live chat.
Never heard of it.
Never, but I'll check it out, Tony.
She was in that action film, wasn't she?
Gunpowder Milkshake. That was awful.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. Yeah.
Really, really bad. Lord Thoth says she looks good in khakis. She looks great in everything, and she sincerely does. And we've got fans of The Rock in the live chat as well. Tony L also reminds us that Karen is a big horror fan, and she's directed a short horror film you can watch out there on YouTube.
Well, also, she was in a horror film, wasn't she? I can't remember, a long time ago.
Oculus, it was called.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah, she was good in that. She was good.
Yeah. She was good in it. I didn't find it particularly memorable as a movie, but she was really good in it. Yeah, but Karen is bigger, I think, says Richard. I think it's probably about even. Vanessa Law says, seriously, why does it matter? Well, it doesn't matter. It's just something to talk about.
Yeah, we're just saying,
Matt was in a really bad zombie virus movie that my brain has thankfully erased the name of, says Retro Doc Gary Akers. I can't remember that one either. No idea what that is. But it is. I think it's great. It's just great to see Matt Smith and Karen Gillan out there doing a variety of different things, all arguably off the back of being in Doctor Who. I think maybe they'd have found their way through anyway. Particularly Matt Smith, a character actor of that quality, he'd probably found his way through anyway.
But I think now.
As Doctor Who fans, we've got a right to feel proud, Ian, that these alum, as people in the live chat describe them, that they are out there still working, still doing interesting things, just like Shah was saying.
The thing about stars on TV, if they give you enjoyment and you enjoy what they're doing and hours of it, you're gonna connect with them as a person and as the character that they're playing. So I connected with Matt. So anything that Matt does now, he hasn't slagged anyone off. He hasn't slagged the fans off. He hasn't done anything bad. I will, make my way to see him if he's in a film. I'll make my way to see him if he's in a TV show. I'll try. The only one I can't watch is the Dragon one because I'm not really into that stuff. But David Tennant now has just blown it for me. I don't care what David Tennant does anymore now. I used to like David Tennant, but now I don't. So, but Matt, yeah, definitely. I'm for Matt. Vote Matt, that's what I say. Do
you think one day, because they are still very close friends, aren't they, Charlotte? Do you think we may see them back in something together eventually?
I would be surprised, even if it's somebody like a Moffat or somebody like that can get them both together in a show.
He was really sad when she left because he said that it was like he lost a sister, didn't he?
Oh, they had that link. You can see they had that connection. So yeah, I think if everything aligned schedule, these two will jump at the chance to be in something again.
I think so as well.
What would you put them in if you could cast them, Shah? If you could cast Matt Smith and Karen Gillan, what would it be?
Oh God, I don't know.
As bank robbers, like Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing?
Yeah, it would have to be a funny, a comedy. It would have to be something fun. I wouldn't want to see anything that serious. I would like to see, something really silly like that, just like a parody of some sort of scary film. That's what I'd like to see them doing, and then being the
is Matt is just as tall as Karen, right?
I think she's taller than he is.
She's taller than him. Oh wow.
I think so.
Right. You know who I'd cast him as? I'd cast him as the Doctor and her just have another.
I would love to see them back. I would love to see those two back.
Bring them back. If the Doctor and Donna can come back, maybe the Doctor and Amy could too. I don't know. For the time being, though, we've got to catch them in other things. So Starve Acre, that's out on the 6th of September, starring Matt Smith, that independent horror movie that looks so much fun. But if you don't have to wait that long to get some brand new Matt Smith action, House of the Dragon Season 2 has premiered today in Britain there on Sky Atlantic, and I think it was yesterday in the States and probably everywhere else as well. As for Karen Gillan, House, what's this one called? This is called Douglas is Cancelled, and it's coming to ITVX. All 4 episodes land at ITVX, that's the streaming platform, on the 27th of June. So you can watch it all in one then. Get back to us and let us know what you think. Whilst you're at it, hit us up in the comments with your favourite roles that you've seen Matt Smith and Karen Gillan in, and what do you think the chances are of eventually seeing them back on Doctor Who? I think we all still hanker for that. It was a massive disappointment. I have to say it was a massive disappointment that Matt Smith at least wasn't present there for the 60th anniversary. Maybe if we wish really, really hard, I don't know.
Thank God he was.
This is Philip Roy playing the Doctor.
And I'm Mandy Rose, and I play Jenny.
For the Doctor Who fan film, Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion, this is the Type 40 podcast.
There's our friend Philip Roy as well. Get over there and get the trailer.
Do you know what the score is when it comes to things like that? You know, making a fan film. Is he allowed to make a whole episode, or does it 15 minutes like the Star Trek rules and stuff? Does anybody know?
I don't know, but you can refresh your memory there and go and hit up the podcast where we interviewed Philip extensively about his plans for the project. And I've spoken to Philip since. There's more coming from him as well. But in the meantime, of course, this is Type 40 Live, streaming across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X here with all things Doctor Who. Where next? Where we go next? Oh yeah, of course. How could I forget? We're rounding things off with a last look at the view screen. It's our regular eye up your temporal schism in search of the prettiest pictures from out there in the Whoniverse. Some fan art up on the view screen as always. So we don't mind whether it's traditional art or digital art. It can be cosplay or crafting even. We want it all here to lay before the live chat here across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X, because we do love our fan art. We need you to tell us who your favourite fan artists are or favourite pieces, and either send them our way or us their way. Make the connection and we can find their work and get it up on the screen here. First of all, what have we got first? We've got first. So this is the latest from one of our favourite newer artists, Charlotte. This is a beautiful sort of anime influenced illustration of the 14th Doctor catching up with an old friend on the way back from the shops. So this is by Napuni. I love Napuni's work, not just the lines, but the choice of colours as well. And I've kind of look at what have they got in the shopping bags? The Master has pears, and the Doctor, of course, has bananas.
I love how rough the Doctor looks. I'm sorry, I think that's such a funny look. Right? Like the hair's everywhere. Like his clothes are a bit like he's dragged them on, and the Master just looks quite chill and quite cool.
Yeah, it's nice. This and the Gallifreyan glyphs around the outside, Shah.
Oh, I love it. I really like it. This is the second time in a row, or second week in a row, where I've seen anime that I'm not a big fan of and actually found it really, really nice. It's a really cool drawing. I like it a lot. I'd like to see that in a small animated short. I think it's just like generic things like going to the shops, little things like that, being stuck in traffic. I would like to see things like that. Just really things that we all do on a day-to-day basis.
And they're cussing one another out as well. That heaven knows what they're saying to one another, Ian.
It's a good little drawing. I didn't think that was. I didn't realize that was the master. But yeah,
that's how he appears in the end of time, isn't it?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, when he's Skeletor, Ian, when he's got lightning coming out of his hands and everything.
Yeah,
it's that rubbish. But yeah.
Did he not shoot himself in the back? Didn't he?
Well, Missy shot him.
Oh, that was in World
No, he shot Missy.
That was later. Yeah, that was a later episode when he was even greyer and had a bigger beard.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
No, I do like this, but of course the reason why he's got pears is because the Doctor hates pears. Just as Fly Highland reminds us there in the live chat. But bananas are good, which is why the Doctor's got some bananas, and there's a TARDIS on his tote bag, and the Master's gone for the placky bag there with a Dalek, with a Dalek on it. See, I do like this. I think the Master's got emo sleeves as well. Come to think of it, or at least near enough.
He's a bit of me, you know.
It says it all, doesn't it?
Too big for him. That's what it is.
Tony says the limited choice of colours really works. I like it. JG thought it was George Michael. Which one? Both of them at different points in his career. Maybe, do you think? Tony L says it's brilliant, lovely work there. Tennant looks like how he looked during lockdown.
That is true.
And Fly Highland says, I'm the opposite. I like pears, but I don't like bananas. It's always one, isn't it? There's always one. Next up, obviously, we are in the wake of that huge episode of Doctor Who from the weekend where Sutekh was revealed. Not everybody was thrilled with Sutekh's realisation so far up on screen. And one young artist in particular has taken to his paper and pencils and imagined a different reinterpretation, a different 21st century version of Sutekh. This one's from Jack Main. It's his fabulous pencil sketch there where Sutekh's real face is revealed.
Oh, that looks proper creepy.
It is, isn't it? It is great work.
If I was he, just leave the mask.
Great work from Jack. I think he's got. I like the way that he's got those sort of hairs, just a few hairs sprouting on the top of his head as well. Shaw. That's very sort of
like that, don't they? Yeah, it's great.
Beast-like, isn't it?
Not massively sure about that. I'd like to see the ears a bit lower down, but that is such a nitpick. Otherwise, I think it's fab. Yeah, I like it. That would scare me.
Of course, we don't know, do we yet, quite how Sutekh himself will look until this coming Saturday. I think a lot could change when we actually see it up on screen. But I love the fact that Jack, and he's not alone either. This is what I love about Doctor Who. It stimulates people and they need to draw something, whether it be out of blind disappointment like Jack, and he's able to flex his muscles and demonstrate such obvious talent. I love the way the eyes are glowing, in particular, the contrast there. So it doesn't really matter where it comes from. If it stimulates art, I think it has to be a good thing.
It's a good pencil sketch, isn't it?
Gary Akers says it's much better. Lord Thoth says it's better. Fly Highland says it's creepier than Scoob Tech. And Tony Farrell says the blank eyes really work in black and white. It's really creepy. Yes, so that's gone down very well indeed, Jack. So if you're out there, I know he does watch the show. And finally, let's go digital again with The Legend of Ruby Sunday. This is the latest one from Dalius, where the TARDIS is engulfed there in the black and red sandy smoke. It's the right TARDIS too. All the little details are in there. I love Dalius's work, and for me this captures the intensity of that moment where you don't really know what's going on, whether we're going to see the TARDIS again. Of course, we're Doctor Who fans, of course we'll see the TARDIS again, but the stakes were obviously high, and it's moments like this that children watching a show like Doctor Who do remember. Russell's convinced that the children have turned up, so hey, maybe he's right. What do you make of this? What do you think of that moment? And has Dalius captured it nicely there?
I think it was nice that because in the episode you didn't see all the detail, and in that picture you can really see like every almost grain and every little bit of the cloud, which is lovely to see.
You can pick it out, can't you? That's what Tony says. It's beautiful. I love the colours. That's what I like about it. The fact that you've got sort of turquoise and teal and the reds and oranges there. I think that's really beautifully judged. It turns a terrifying moment into something really, really quite lovely. Cool, says Melanie Weston. That's brilliant, says JG. And what else? We've got Sutekh is vulnerable to people throwing a stick, claims Carwyn Morris. Where was that? What did I miss? I can't remember that bit. But I do love Dailies' work, and you can follow them certainly on Twitter. I think they're on Instagram as well. We featured several of these pieces so far. I think this is a fabulous example. Stephen Braddock says that evokes the scene better than the actual scene. So that's that you can have a bigger or better compliment than that for any fan artist. So yeah, if we may have featured your favourite fan artist this time, but if you haven't, there's plenty of time, plenty of shows. Put us in touch with them or them in touch with us, and you know how it works. Charlotte, I gather it's about time you disappeared too in a wisp of sand and smoke, maybe, or are you just gonna shut your cardigan and go to bed?
I'm just gonna go to bed. I don't have that much of a dramatic entrance or leaving. I don't think.
I think you should work on it.
Well, if my internet might help me in that regard, you never know. But I'll see. See you guys on Thursday.
See you next time for more, Charlotte. Great to see you again, as always, Nanite. Yes, what else have we got here? I hope Sutekh is house trained, says Melanie Weston. I'm talking about Jack's picture. And Retro.Gary Akers says, Dan has a knack for finding the best fan art. It's not me that finds all of it. People find it for us here at Type 40 Live. Philip is in the live chat as well. The Doctor, Philip Roy. Doctor Who himself. 3 great bits of Who art tonight. I'd like to think so. I think they were great, but are they greater? Do you disagree? Have you found even greater? Let us know where to find them. Get in touch with us through our social media, Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who. Or if you can't be bothered with all of that and you want to cut out the middleman, head over to the Type 40 Facebook group there and join the community. Join the arguments between the classic and the new series there. These two, yeah, we still haven't sorted them out. They don't half make a mess, leave crumbs and bits of marsh minnows all over the cover there of the sofa. So still can be a bit of a messy eater. But the Mox is giving him what for, and you can do just that too if you join the Type 40 Facebook group and share your feelings about the classic series, the new series, and all new Doctor Who, starring Ncuti Gatwa, which of course is going to recommence very, very soon. Don't miss Tales of the TARDIS. So that's coming up later in the week. We told you earlier on about how it's going to focus on the Pyramids of Mars, just as we suspected on the last show, with new material, new updated special effects too. So quite the presentation they're giving to Pyramids of Mars there in the run-up to the continuation of the 2-part season finale, which is going to feature Sutekh. That's called, what's that called? It's called Empire of Death. Empire of Death, Ian, is on the way.
Good luck. Good luck, everybody. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. So, Shah, yeah, you weren't on the reaction show, so are you looking forward to this? What are your anticipation levels looking like for the weekend, for the conclusion?
I'm really looking forward to it. It is the first time I've been excited for another episode to air. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I wasn't, massively sold on Sutekh, but that is what's the word I'm looking for? That was the least of my worries for this whole season. I'm just glad that I've got an episode there that I can enjoy and will go back and watch again. And I'm really looking forward to this next one. It should be good. I'm not counting on it because usually 2-parters, the latter of the two, aren't always as good as the first bit. But I'm excited for it, and I've not felt like that in a while, so it's quite nice.
The clock is definitely ticking, and the motor is running on Mel's scooter. I do like that, the bright orange scooter to match her orange suit. There she is. There's Mel with the Doctor looking. They look very serious. They look very serious.
She's fantastic as well. I've really enjoyed watching her.
She's better than ever. Carwyn asks, is it actually going to be an empire? Will there be an empire in it? We've no idea until I watch it. Richard says Empire of Death sounds like it will be a reset episode, though. A reset episode? I'm not sure I know exactly what you mean, but this is a brand new image that's just been published today from Empire of Death that's coming up at the weekend. This is where we have to sort of put a jam in the lock and wait. You can join us again next time. Same time and space for more hot takes, pet peeves, rants and raves here at Type 40 Live. Ian, it's great to have you back, mate. I know you've been sitting out this series of Doctor Who itself, haven't you? But there's always something to talk about when he hasn't got a mouthful of whatever he's enjoying there.
Hungry.
Hungry. He's famished, everybody. Thank you for the comments there in the live chat. Yeah, let him get on with it. Thank you for the comments in the live chat there across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook and X. Please, drop us some more. Let us know how much you're looking forward to the weekend there. The Pyramids of Mars Updated Edition 2. Are you down for that or not? All views are welcome in Type 40. As always, are you going to make it to see the new movie that's coming out in September starring Matt Smith? Have you already started House of the Dragon Season 2? And do you think that new comedy series, Karen Gillan, that's something that's a bit of you? Are you going to go for that? Let us know. And what about our breaking news story that Doctor Who has been recommissioned for a third series by BBC Studios starring Ncuti Gatwa? You've heard it here first, everybody. The official announcement is coming. Shah, thank you for your company. Again, I hope you've enjoyed yourself and vented a little and celebrated your love of the Matt Smith Doctor.
Oh, anytime I can talk about Matt Smith, I absolutely will. Yeah, thank you for having me back. It was always a pleasure and always a surprise when you let me come back.
A surprise. We've got Mosh, or is it just Mosh? Mosh. I'm going to call you Mosh because I quite like the name. It's cuddly. Yeah, even better. Yeah, so Mosh, if that's your club and if that's your name, you're all right with us here. I just subscribed to your channel. I've been a Doctor Who fan 50 years. Good for you. Well, better late than never, Mosh. Get stuck into the playlist for more live streams and lots of Type 40 podcasts too. We're going to go and run around the TARDIS for a little while. Heaven knows there's plenty of room for us to do that. We're going to have a quick run around and we'll see you back here for the next Type 40. We always have the time if you have the space at Type 40 Live. We'll see you later in the week. Bye-bye.
Bye.